At first, I just thought people couldn't financially justify hiring a clown anymore, you know? Then I started blaming the media for portraying my people as bloodthirsty murderers, cult members, or man-eating space aliens. Of course, the 2016 clown sightings didn't help. Ronald was the first to go. They just took him away. And we stayed silent. Because that's when the book appeared. What new form of clown bigotry was this, I thought? Hadn't my people suffered enough? My clown act was failing because people just weren't taking it seriously. And once they fired me from the circus, I tried suing them for funfair dismissal. My unicycle rusted, and my balls gathered dust. I used to make kids scream with laughter, you know. So much that I could see the tears of joy running down their faces. And then it just stopped. I was so upset that I started eating the banana cream pies instead of throwing them in people's faces. I gained so much weight that summer. I avoided it for a while, but the book's front cover was just so eye-catching, and it was so readily available on Amazon, that I gave in and finally read the thing. I didn't even know what the Nephilim were. Luckily, the author spent the first half of the book concisely explaining the biblical history to me in an easy-to-understand manner, so that wasn't really a problem for long. That's when I read the rest of the book and realized that being a clown is no joke. Hello everyone, how are we all doing? Come on in, sit on down. Let's do a random live Q&A session for an hour or so, because I am waiting to start to talk with JayDreamerZ channel. He's invited me on to discuss the clowns, and it's a late one. It's we've scheduled it for 11:30 UK time, and I have emailed him asking if he wants to start it any sooner, but I don't think he's seen the messages. So till then, how about I just have a chat with you guys instead, just to kill a bit of time, have a bit of fun, connect. It's been a while since I've managed to just sit down and talk with my audience. So yeah, how are we all doing? How's everyone coping lately? Did everyone see that meteor that came crashing down today? I'm sure we've all seen the footage of that streak of light burning up in our atmosphere, as they say. What does everyone think of that? What does everyone make of this thing, eh? But yeah, I'm sure there's lots on your mind. You don't just have to talk with me about the clowns or the Millennial Kingdom. If you have questions about any topic at all, or my opinions on any particular take, just this is your chance just to bring it up, and yeah, let's hash it out. Let's have a conversation. So here I am, waiting in the ready. Let me just get this arranged. Maybe a better presentation method. How about I do this? Maybe get this pile of books here. What else should I do? I'll stack this one up. There we go. That's as far as my presentation method goes, but there we are, guys. Sure. So how are we all doing? What's going on in the chat? Let's see what we've got. We've got Steven Skeeper. Thanks for being here. Pam, great to see you. Kuza, thanks for being here. We got Origins. J plus Paul equals yeah. Thumbs up times 8. Times 8. That's a lot of thumbs up. Excellent. Yeah, it should be good fun. I'm looking forward to talking with him. He's actually I've followed that channel for years, even before like 2018 when I got kicked off. I think I was listening to his stuff about the plasma apocalypse. So it's kind of it's an odd experience to be invited onto his channel to talk about my work, because I always thought I would get him on my channel first to talk about his work. To be honest, I always thought that's how it would go. But yeah, it's funny how things work out, I suppose, isn't it? We've got Donut here, great to see you. We've got Kirk, Michael, Douglas. They just took him away. you like that advert, do you? Yeah, that was fun. That one, that was it was fun to make. I've got an idea for a Halloween special coming up. Something about not giving kids who dress like clowns candy. And then there's something there. There's something about that. Instead of giving the children candy, you just give them out the book instead, like spreading the knowledge about Halloween and how corrupt it is, and that it's occult origins in witchcraft and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's nebulous, but there's something. I could pull that together into a 60-second segment of comedy somehow, couldn't I, to sell the book? So I'm going to figure that out. That's going to be the next advert coming up by the end of the month, just before October rolls around, and I think I'll run that one through October while it's going down. Yeah, I'm having fun with the adverts, I can definitely tell you that much. That was so funfair of them, absolutely. What's going on? Let me just have a drink quickly. I'm feeling a little bit parched. I'm a bit under the weather, to be honest. I've pulled something in this arm. The joint has been really painful in my shoulder for the past week. And just yesterday, I've been getting shooting nerve pain running down the tendons to my ring finger. And I've had it in a sling today to keep it upright. I've had a pressure brace on it. I've got the brace here, which I've taken off to give it a rest. And I've taken some anti-inflammatories and painkillers to try and settle it down, but I think it's made my throat a little bit dodgy. I sound a little bit raspy, don't I? So apologies now, but I'm working through a little bit of physical pain, shall we say. Try and swallow that away from the microphone as well. What else have we got here? The only adverts I don't skip. Thank you. I do appreciate that. I'm trying to find a church in my small coastal town to get baptized. How does one go about this? Well, I assume you just have to be a regular goer of the church for a short while, and I assume after long enough, if you become a member of that community, they'll more than happily baptize you if that's what they do. You're asking the wrong person, though. I'm a non-denominational. I'm not really a member of a church exactly, so I wouldn't know the minutiae details of how to get through that process specifically. But if you do find a church you're happy being a member of, I'm sure they'd be happy to oblige if you just ask, I assume. But maybe I'm naive. Maybe it's more complicated than that in reality. Hey, who knows? We've got Kirk, Steve, Kay. Live show. Yep, you've made it. Cage Fighter, good to see you. Loving the commercials, Paul. Very shareable. I should hope so. Speaking of shareability, someone there suggested today that I make stickers. And I maybe make loads of little square stickers of the book cover or something like this, and just give it every time I send a book out to somebody who buys it through me, and I mail it to them myself. I'll just stuff the package full of loads of little stickers, and they can go out and stick them to things all over the place. Get a bit of a guerrilla marketing campaign going on for the Nephilim Look Like Clowns. And could be fun. But yeah, talk about shareability there. Temple Mountain looks like a temple on top. Colosseum Mountain looks like the same thing. Yes, okay. We got Elizabeth Joyce here. Good to see you. Your book is in the mail, Elizabeth. I sent it out yesterday, so it should be with you within the week, hopefully. Obviously, going from the UK to America, it might take a little bit of time, but it's been, for a lot of people, it's been surprisingly quick. It's give or take. Sometimes it turns up in 4 days. Sometimes it turns up in 14 days. I think it depends on where in America you are. The more isolated you are, the more longer it seems to take, I think. I think it's a great idea to combine Jay and Paul's mind settings. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun conversation. No pressure. I think it should be pretty chilled back and easygoing. So we're two pretty easygoing guys. So I imagine it's gonna be a very, very laid back, polite conversation, I imagine. But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. With your study of the MK buildings, what do you think gargoyles are? Well, there could be many things. They're a reminder of what once was, going out from the darkness of the world of its corruption into the beauty of God's kingdom, which is inside the building. You could see it symbolically like that. I don't think just the very nature of gargoyles existing makes the sculpture itself evil. And people document terrible events through artwork for many reasons, not because they're celebrating them, so they don't forget the horrors of that moment or that time or what happened. People painting scenes of war, for example, or famine or death and pestilence that they lived through, in a way they're documenting something. So a lot of this artwork of gargoyles and gods and goddesses on cathedrals and buildings could be just retelling of old tales, so you don't forget your history. I don't think it's necessarily a representation or a veneration of something evil, which a lot of people seem to assume, because they always have this attitude, well, if these buildings were built during the millennial kingdom, why are they covered in gargoyles? That just wouldn't happen in God's kingdom. It's kind of, well, people still exist. People make artwork. We are creative things. And sure, maybe Jesus wouldn't be going around sculpting gargoyles, but humans do that kind of thing, don't they? And it wouldn't surprise me if that's why they're there. But fundamentally, I think they just represent the horrors of hell and demons and the outside world and the sinful nature of the world. And I think it's supposed to show, isn't it? The outside of the cathedral has this darkness, and the inside has this light. And I think it's just that symbolic metaphor, isn't it? More than anything, that's the basic understanding of gargoyles as well. And I think actually there's probably something to it, to be honest. So yeah, there you go. Do you ever get burnt out talking about the Nephilim like clowns or the Millennial Kingdom? I don't really get burnt out about much, to be honest. No. The Nephilim clown research is my baby. I'm going to love it and talk about it forever. I can never let it go. And more research is always coming my way, and more things backing up the research is always coming my way as well. So I don't see why that's ever going to stop, or why I'd ever stop talking about this topic. It's what I'm predominantly known for. It's what my base is here for. I know I've developed a lot of people who have come to me to talk about the Millennial Kingdom stuff as well in the recent year, and a lot of people have joined for the Parasite stuff as well. So I'm an eclectic guy. I talk about a lot of different topics. I may have honed in and focused on a few solid ones recently, but I'm not tied to them to speak about them forever and only them exclusively, and I never was. Just you're just along for the ride, welcome aboard. What will I talk about next? Who knows? Next year it could be something else for all we know. But whatever I find interesting, I talk about, and I keep talking about them, and I go on and on and on and on and on until I've satisfied my mind that I fully understand it, and all of its facets and what it can entail. And that can take as long as it takes for each topic, and it may take forever, it may take a lifetime, it could take a week. But with something as big as the Millennial Kingdom of Christ already happening, that is not just going to disappear overnight, I'm afraid. And if more evidence keeps coming forward that seems to corroborate this idea, we're going to have to keep pursuing it and see where it leads. So that's it. So no, I won't say I get burnt out personally. Maybe some people do. Are you trying to hint that I talk too much about that and you're burnt out by it? If you're burnt out by me talking about those topics, then just don't subscribe anymore. Go somewhere else. It's a free internet at the end of the day. But yeah, you come to my channel, you'll probably hear about these topics quite a lot. I just got your book, says DJ. Excellent. Wonderful. Enjoy. I'm not associated. We talk about baptisms. Use castor oil to heal your arms. Yeah, I've heard that one, Carrie. Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a lot more vitamin D into me as well, and some vitamin B12. Because, see, I have a genetic condition, which if you haven't heard, called hemochromatosis, which is an overload of iron and iron poisoning. And I do get a lot of pains, arthritic pains in my fingers, joint pains all over because of the high rust in my body due to the oxidation of the iron. So I've equated a lot of this pain to that, to be honest. And I have had treatment to get back to normal levels. I'm on the mend, but these symptoms will never really leave because the damage has kind of already been done from having such high ferritin unknown to me for so many years. So I'm expecting aches and pains here and there. Arthritis in the fingers is one of them. I'm getting quite early if I use them too extensively. I've had to build my son's new bed recently, and using the screwdriver after about 20 minutes, half an hour, just slightly turning it just was too much agony for me. I had to stop and take a break. So I equated the pain in my arm to be a result of doing all these things, this excessive work, gardening and things like that. And because I have this damage already there in the cartilage and in the joints from the hemochromatosis, I have to take it easy. So I'm finding things like collagen and whatever I can get to try and keep the fluid in my cartilage strong for longer. But I expect by the time I'm like 50 to have some serious arthritic issues in my extremities. It's just unavoidable now. I don't think you can really undo cartilage damage like that. If you can, then let me know. But I don't think you can. You can only slow down the progression now, as far as I'm aware. Slow Boy Whiteboard says, check your PayPal. I emailed you about a signed copy the other day, and you going live right now just reminded me to check my email. So you've paid for your, I see it now, I'm looking at my phone now. So you've just sent £60 for your signed copy, and you've left me your name, address, phone number, and email. I need all of them. I know it's annoying. I know I don't like asking for people's phone numbers, but annoyingly, to ship internationally, my courier, Every, which is Hermes International, they require a mobile number or I'm not allowed to send a package out. And it's something to do with, if something goes wrong, they will call you and ask you about the package. Like if customs stops it, something like that. And it's annoying, but when I had all the pre-orders lined up, I had to go back to like 80 people and request a phone number from them, even though they've already sent me their email and their address. I didn't realize until I got to it that I would have to have everything. So that was a nightmare, a logistical nightmare to get those. But I managed to get them all and send out the pre-orders. And once the book was published, about maybe a month after, it took a month to recuperate all the lost numbers that I should have got months prior. So yeah, but thanks for giving that info there, Slow Boy. I will send that out tomorrow. Someone else bought one earlier today, and I've got somebody else as well who wants to buy one. I think he wants one in Dubai or something. I've got the stack here, so 2 more of these are now claimed officially, maybe the 3rd. And yeah, I'll just sign it tomorrow, and I'll slap it in one of these envelopes here, and I'll ship it out to you as quickly as I can tomorrow. And I'll obviously keep you informed of when I'm doing that too. And if anyone else wants to do that, like I said, I've got a stack of paperbacks here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 left. 7. And if you're interested, you can £60. That's the minimum. That's all you need to send, and I'll sign a copy and send it to you in the mail. If you're interested, just email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. I can get one out to you. Jay doesn't believe in Jesus Christ and is directly against people who only believe the scripture. He is fundamentally against Christ and Christians and has made that very clear. Yeah, well, not everybody believes what each other believes. That's just the way of life, isn't it? It doesn't mean we can't have a discourse about ideas and concepts. I'm sure he has his own understandings of what the Nephilim are from his own personal spiritual worldview. I have my understanding. He'll hold steadfast in his. I'll hold steadfast in my perspective. But I can only share what I've found with my own research, and he can take it or leave it as he wants. That's called civil discourse. I'm not looking to convert anybody with my visit today on JayDreamerZ channel. I'm just looking to have a conversation about spiritual warfare, malevolent entities people see in the DMT realm, and what my research has led me to understand about what they are, where they come from, and more specifically, what they look like. That's all it's going to be. So yeah, Jay has his own thing. I know his stance. I've been following him for years. Doesn't matter. He's still a nice guy. I still enjoy his work. I enjoy his work on the plasma apocalypse idea, and I'm just going to roll with it. I don't see an issue with that. Do you listen to Eridan? He's good. No, I don't watch his videos, but I have seen that he randomly cropped up like a year ago, and he's a viral sensation immediately because his thumbnail game is on point from what I've seen. And he has his style, doesn't he? You recognise when it's one of his videos. But from what I can see, he's not really going too deep. He's giving basic Christian lore in his videos. I don't see him going much into like the real deep conspiracy stuff necessarily. And maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like he's just basically in a dramatic way, presenting basic Christian spiritualism and ideas about demons and things like this. So I don't know, that's all I know about the guy. My Jester vision occurred about 4 years ago, totally sober. I had never heard of your theory yet. I'm glad for your research. It's answering questions I had. RE, that vision, says Rebecca B. Yeah. Well, I had my own vision, as I'm sure you've heard, that led me to go and discover all of this. So it's not uncommon. And your experience that you just said there, I hear it a lot. What I have done here does seem to help people contextualize their own spiritual visions and experiences about what happened to them. And all it's done for me is help me confirm that I've got something right. It's something, there's something to all of this, and if it helps people get closer to understanding how to deal with these visions or mentally contextualize them so they can move past it, then that's a job well done in my eyes. I'm happy with that. The Millennial Kingdom isn't too hard to imagine once you realise futurist eschatology was formulated by John Nelson Darby and then later Schofield in 1830. What did they believe prior? I believe it's historicism was the predominant view up until that point, which is kind of like preterism in a way. They'll have their own versions, or the amillennialist view, or something like that. I've got to be careful what I do with this arm. I keep resting it funny. There we go. Can we talk about birds a little bit too for a break sometime? No, not on this channel. Greetings from Detroit, says Steve's. Happy little trees. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Elohim's Medicine, thanks for being here. Chris, you were spamming the same message. I have no idea what's going on there. Am I still blocked, says Chris G. I don't know. Did I block you? If I blocked you, I probably had a reason. I'm not going to lie. You can say it's rude, but it's my channel. I'll block if I want to. That's kind of the way it goes. This isn't a democracy. I don't mind doxing myself for you, says Slowboy. Well, I appreciate that. But no, your information is safe with me, don't worry. Paul, we both had Jester visions while sober, and I also have genetic hemochromatosis. Weird correlations. It is strange, isn't it? Yeah, it's possible. A high iron content in your blood can cause visions. Who knows? Honestly, who knows with this world? But that's an odd coincidence, isn't it? Thanks for sharing that, and apologies for having the condition. I understand how horrible it can actually be. I don't think people quite get it, and I wouldn't have understood it until I had it, But it's brutal. It's like a slow numbing pain that goes on forever until you're dead. It's it's a rough one. I don't know to what extent I don't know if you had any liver damage or heart damage or anything from your ferritin levels. I luckily avoided that, but I'm not so sure. I haven't got ligament damage and muscle damage and possibly brain damage. I hope not. They don't check that, so I wouldn't even know. But yeah, it's possible to get all of those things. But yeah, my heart goes out to you, and I apologize that you had to get this horrible condition. Can I send Paul a long story about an old Associated Press reporter I knew who collected Asian clown demon masks on Telegram? Or would that be annoying, says Slow-Mo Moonbuggy? No, not annoying at all. Telegram's actually a great place to share that kind of thing. I have a clown subtopic on my Telegram group to go and share that kind of thing. And I'm always reading, I'm always watching, and I'm always fascinated to hear anything anybody's got that corroborates this theory and that their own personal experiences that share this story of people's encounters with the clown Nephilim featured entities. Go for it. Go to Telegram, go to the clown subtopic and share your story. I will gladly give it a read. Jay means well. He's not a bad person, says David. Exactly. Yeah. He's certainly not evil. That's fine. He might have different beliefs to me, but that doesn't make him a bad person necessarily. Visionary vets. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know what we're talking about there, but fair enough. Could the Pope be a jester? Demon Clown equals 1142. Jorge Mario Bergoglio? Is that how you pronounce that? I probably butchered that violently. I'm so sorry to the Italians out there. It also equals 1142. The numbers say yes. Okay. Okay. Maybe. I do remember there was that video going around where the Pope was literally, he had Cirque du Soleil come to the Vatican and do a huge performance around his throne as he sat there on his throne. It's like jesters and jugglers on unicycles and tightrope walkers just going around him. And he was just sat there looking around with a smile on his face, clapping along. So, and there's just a huge mass of people sat there in front of him just watching this circus performance in the midst of the Vatican Hall. It's such an odd image. But it corroborates my theory, doesn't it? Maybe the Pope is in on all of this. What Bible do you use? I use all the translations on websites. You know, you get them. You can look at a verse and you see all of them at once, can't you? But my physical copy is this old authorized King James and Apocrypha book. It's very thick. I've got pages falling out. it's here. And tiny writing, you know, and it's the King James. The King James fundamentally is what I went with, and that's not because, you know, I have like some kind of dogmatic, like King James only type attitude. It's just the only one I've found that I don't know. There's something about it. So I can really say there's something about the language in it and the way it's written that I enjoy. But I'm open to other translations and things. I compare translations when I'm doing studies online myself, so I'm not like beholden. But my own paper version is the King James. Yeah. Yoga is good for cartilage growth. Proper yoga, not Hollywood blasphemous crap. Okay, well, I'll be doing some stretches here. I'm going to go back to the gym again. I've been lacking on that for a while. Because of the condition, I've been unable to exercise without being in extreme fatigue and exhaustion and muscle pain. But now that obviously I've got my levels back down, and hopefully I can manage the pain, I'm going to try and get back to the gym and exercise and stretch and fight through the pain so I can maintain a healthy weight and stay balanced. I just did the parasite cleanse not that long ago. Did a month protocol, 2 weeks on, about 2 weeks off, 1 week on again at the full moon to make sure I kill all the eggs of the parasites. That's when they like to hatch. Doing a black walnut, wormwood, garlic and clove tincture. And yeah, a lot, you know, no, it's TMI, but a lot of weird things have been coming out of me. Let's put it that way. And I've had a lot of odd die-off symptoms and experiences through that whole process, and I'm at the back end of it now. And do I feel different? I don't know. Maybe I haven't done it as hardcore as a lot of other people, but I still get sugar cravings. I still kind of feel. I don't feel like it did that much for me exactly, but I've seen things come out of me which has confirmed that yes, okay, so I clearly had parasites in my digestive tract. You know, it was all there. But I think I might need to go deeper. I think I need to get to the things that are buried in my muscles, the things that are in between the blood-brain barrier. You know, I really need to do a deeper, more a proper cleanse that gets into that isn't just a part of that tube from the mouth to the back. You know, that I need to get out of that and into the rest of my body. Who knows? Maybe that's why I have all this joint pain. Really. Probably not. I don't think there's any harm with expelling parasites from your body, so I'm going to give it a go at some point in the future. But right now, I'm going to take a rest from parasite cleanses, and I'm probably going to move on to exercise and healthy eating instead for a little bit and see what that does for me. I slipped up a bit with the healthy eating after I went to America. That place ruined me. And when in Rome, you know, I sampled a lot of the food in America, and I think that gave me a huge setback in my health and weight. I'm not going to lie. Came back with a severe sugar addiction after that holiday. What's going on? When's the podcast with Jay-Z? It's in an hour and 15 minutes on his channel, I believe, from now. You absolutely need a Spanish copy. Okay. We'll look into translations some point later in the future, perhaps. I have your book. I need to order more to leave at people's homes. Fair enough. Well, Hungry Wolf, if you want to do a bulk order, you can work that out through me, and I can get at a discounted rate more books to you if you want to do a big bulk order, like many books all at once. I think the maximum I can send out at once is about 25 books. And I could probably do that maybe a 40% discounted rate or something like that. And I think I have the math here somewhere. Maybe if I just quickly check my document. Yeah, I can, so I can do it if you ordered 12 books. That would cost $224, which means you would be paying $18 per unit. That's a 38% discount. If you do 25 books, I can sell it for $400, which means you'd be paying $16 per unit. That's a 47% discount on the book. So it's almost a 50% discount if you buy 25. And that's the math with postage and print costs and everything else included. And I would literally make the same profit off that as I would through doing it through Amazon. So I don't gain any more money. I gain the same amount of money I would sell if you bought it full price through Amazon. Doing that, I get $10 per book, but you will get it at a significantly half price rate. So there is the things I can do. If anyone's interested, just contact me and see if I can get a bulk order. What I would do is I would do it from print cost, but I would ship the print cost versions, the author copies, straight to your house. So I would need your address. I would need to pretend that I live at your address through Amazon and change my address. And then when I do the order, it'll send it straight to you rather than me. It's really, but I have done it for somebody, and somebody did buy 25, and they've been giving them out all over the place, and they've been messaging me and having a good laugh about it. They've been giving them out to all the pastors and churches in their area. Apparently the reception's been good. I think only one outright refused it and gave the book back and said, "Get out of my church," basically, which is good going. 1 out of 25 isn't bad. But yeah, I don't know. That's funny. But yeah, if you want a bulk order, just let me know, and I'll see if I can figure something out for you. Is there someone? Sorry, someone's left a super chat. Sorry, I missed that one. Let me just quickly go check this out. Recently was doing a parasite cleanse. Sorry, I can't see the whole thing. It's not showing me the whole. There it is. I was recently doing a parasite cleanse. My wife and I both experienced some demonic oppression, shadow beings surrounding the cleanse, even though she wasn't cleansing. Love your work. Yeah, the stuff is weird. Weird things happen to you when you do a parasite cleanse. I had a lot of weird dreams. I've had heart palpitations, sweats, nausea, fatigue, all sorts of things happening, sicknesses and illness. But at the same time, taking activated charcoal did help. Pick up all the dead bodies of the dead parasites and get rid of those toxins. But yeah, I can see what you mean. I do feel like desires to be gluttonous increase. It's kind of like the parasites are trying to make you just indulge to counteract the poison that you've put in your body that's killing them. Poison to them, wormwood, not to us. So it's kind of, I think that's what happens. It's a bit of an internal struggle happens between the demon and you, the parasites and you, or however you want to explain it or talk about it. It's odd. It's an odd experience, and I think the next thing I'll try is the pure gum turpentine protocol. But I'm going to do that way in the future. I'm not going to do that anytime soon. Maybe in a couple of months' time, something like that. Sorry, I'm just checking my phone, my emails to see if Jay has corroborated yet. I've got a message from Steve. who wants to buy a signed copy of the book. I don't know if you're listening or not, Steve, but I'll email you back right now and say, yes, you can send £60 to my PayPal, and I will send that out tomorrow. Get that out. But yeah, guys, if you have any more questions for me, please just leave them in there now, and I'll get to them. I'm scrolling slowly through the chat. maybe I should skip a few and just get straight to it. And I'll try and keep up with it because I know I always get really far behind when I do this thing. But while I'm just quickly sending this message out, get any questions in at all. I'm going to email this guy back, and in the meantime, you can enjoy this advert of mine just to kill a bit of time. Are you tired of the same old conversations? Do you often find yourself struggling to know what to say? Are you over discussing the news, sports ball, or the weather? It's time to put boring discussions behind you by leaving a copy of The Nephilim Look Like Clowns on your coffee table, your toilet, your local library, mother's car, boss's office desk, or that person you really likes bed instead.
What the hell is this?
Oh, that? Why, it's just a book about how the modern costume of a clown is a caricature of ancient giants and modern demons.
Stay away from my children.
This is a conversation you can't wait to have. My family used to think I was crazy, but thanks to The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, they know I'm crazy. The Nephilim Looks Like Clowns. It's no laughing matter. And there we go. I am back, guys. What's going on? Let's check the chat again. Let's see what's happening here. How are musicians the modern day clowns? Well, I've explained that quite a lot in many videos. The costume of a clown is actually very powerful. And it's not a clown to other cultures. It's a costume of spirits, of ancestor spirits. And people traditionally dress like their ancestors to channel the spirits of their ancestors, to ask them for stuff, including talent, knowledge, strength, information, power. And when a musician dresses like the ancestors, or what we call in the West a clown, they are doing the same thing. And maybe a lot of these musicians, they only have this skill because they've made that contract and that deal by channeling the demon. And you have to wonder, don't you? The whole selling their soul for rock and roll thing might be more literal than we know. Right, I've just finished sending that email, poorly written email. I think I've just sent it out there. Jay has emailed me as well. Oh, apparently he's in the chat. He's listening. Well, there you go. Hi, Jay. Great to see you. Yeah, you're busy running your errand. That's fine. You just let me know when you're ready to go, and we're ready to go. I know we had it originally scheduled for 11:30. That's still fine. We can still do it that way. No problem. Don't rush yourself. Family comes first. Okay. Don't worry about it. I'm just killing time here with my YouTube family, shall we say, with the strangers who constantly like to yell questions at me in the chat. I'm just killing some time with them. So you do your thing, man, and I'll speak to you soon. No problem. And maybe we can bring some of these viewers over to your channel once this show's over, and we can have a bit of a little nice crossover. We have a merging of subscribers. Should be good fun. Although I think we share a lot of the same subscribers as well, to be honest. So yeah, it should be a good one. I've got another super chat from Taco Fillings. They are fourth dimensional beings, and they inhabit our bodies in the third dimension by possessing what we see in the microscope as parasites. The 3D form is parasites. Yeah, I can get that. There's definitely a spiritual, physical connection between parasites and demons. Again, I made the presentation, and I think there's a lot to it, and I really do. I think Alpha Talks gave a great presentation on that, and I think the similarities between the two are uncanny. and can't be ignored. So it's always something I'm going to keep under my own knowledge belt, shall we say. And I actually have Alva Talks coming back on the channel on the 25th. He was going to come on tonight, but we had to reschedule and push it back because he basically said, look, Paul, I've got this presentation and I've found loads more new information that isn't in the presentation. And I don't want to leave it out. So can we please push it back so I can make this presentation even better? That was basically his argument. I was like, of course you can. Yeah, just whenever you're ready, man, whatever. We'll reschedule for a few weeks' time. So on the 25th, in 20 days, Alva Talk should have his presentation ready. And he's going to come back on the channel and bring a lot more information about this and a lot more evidence about this than what was initially shared on my Parasite video. So that should be good fun. I'm looking forward to that. So he should be, Alpha Talks will be back on. Vitali will be back on. Love the commercials, yeah. It's like somebody's arguing with my wife about something. Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm staying out of it. You don't know if anyone say, but Now You See TV put out a short about the little season topic, and someone in the comments referenced this channel. Says Captain of My Soul. I haven't seen what Now You See TV has released recently. No idea. I remember when they released the initial debunking of the Millennial Kingdom Theory video, where they basically just went off on one talking about how preterism was formally created by a Jesuit in the 1600s or something like that. And it's kind of, well, okay, so a Jesuit in the 1600s formalized an odd belief system that's kind of amillennialist preterism. What about the words of Jesus? And everything else that people like me have presented? He's going to skim over that. Like, that 16th century Jesuit didn't invent the truth of Christ and biblical history. Okay, he made a formalized belief system as a counter-reformation to the Reformation. Sure. But this idea, this concept that Christ came back quickly after his first resurrection, and resurrected the saints and established a millennial kingdom and locked up Satan for 1,000 years, that happened quickly. It didn't happen 2,000 years later. In his own words, were making it very clear it was imminent in his time. That's the belief. It comes from Christ, not some Jesuit in the 1600s. So they didn't really debunk anything. It was a knee-jerk reaction. And I'm sure whatever they've released recently in some short form is no better. And I'm sure they're still missing the point. And I don't waste my time with them. I don't waste my time following or listening to that kind of stuff. I'm not looking to get into a mud wrestle with anyone about this. I just present the information as it is. Take it or leave it. Attack my character if you want, but the words of Jesus are the words of Jesus, and I'm not going to change my opinion because people don't like me or what I have to say. I mean, that's so what? So what, honestly? Hey, Paul, I'm going to send you an email. Can you keep an eye out for that? It's the attachment I want you to review will expire in 7 days, says Casanova. Yeah, I remember, Casanova, you sent me something in Telegram, I think, about reviewing some book of yours or something like that. I'll do it when I can, but I'm pretty busy. I'm not going to lie, and I'll do what I can when I can. But if you want to email that to me as well, that's fine. How can they be saved if we are so uninviting? It'll push them further away from the Bible, says David. Are we talking about pushing Christianity onto an otherwise unchristian group of people or something like that? I don't know what we're talking about there. That ad never gets old, says a short. Thank you. Fourth dimensional beings really want candy, says Club. It seems that way, yeah. They're simple creatures with simple desires, Just glad to have found a good group of Christian folks to talk with and bounce ideas off. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Messiah never said to turn his back on unbelievers. He said to dust your feet off, move on when those won't listen. That's very different. There's also the verse that what Father brings together can't be divided. Absolutely, Wendy. Good point. As above, so below. Each dimension has a higher and lower. Fourth is the realm of dreams. Lower 4D is the realm of nightmares. I mean, I don't know about that, Tony. Maybe. Yeah, can we truly know that type of thing? The mysteries of heaven? I don't know. A 3-day fast, ACV water, bone broth only, black seed oil, fresh raw garlic, water, room temperature, colloidal silver, charcoal, oil of oregano, blend 20 papaya seeds and drink. After 3 days, you're clean. Fair enough, but that's a complicated mouthful, and I don't have a blender. So, do I have a blender? I used to, a little one, years ago. I'll have to dig that out from the back of the cupboard somewhere. But yeah, thanks for the advice, Taco. I appreciate that. I saw one of your videos where you posted a clip of a man who drew a demon and then a glitch in the video happened and a black and white fractal image appeared behind him. It blew my mind, says Lindsay H. That was one of the early videos. That was one of the first 2 or 3 episodes in the series, like 8 years ago. Yeah. What you're talking about there is liquid crystal polarization. Took me a while to remember that then. It's been a while. Liquid crystal polarization. It was mainly a thing that happened on old analog to digital analog TV. I think an analog signal TV. The switch to digital kind of stopped that, I think, from happening. But it was something to do as well with the fractalization of particles within a TV screen or a camera lens or something. They had many reasons and mixed garbled signals or something like that. I don't think they had much technical reasonings as to why it happened, but it looked like a demon was manifesting behind the guy. That's what it looked like, So take of it what you will. The black and white squiggled fractal phenomena was just definitely relatable when I was talking about the black and white gestures I saw in my own experiences. So I couldn't leave it out. But I don't know 100% if liquid fractal crystal polarization is a manifestation of the demonic. I couldn't say for certainty if that was the case, but it's certainly creepy when you do see it happen, don't you? It's very odd. Hello, Paul. The circus is alive and well in the US, Las Vegas, with the Cirque du Soleil. The rings are a bit 3-dimensional, but still there. Yeah, well, the circus hasn't died, and the Circus of the Sun, the Cirque du Soleil, the Sun Circus, their symbolism in all of their shows and all of their posters are rife with Freemasonic, demonic Nephilim symbolism all throughout from start to finish. They know what they're doing. They know full well what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the French Canadian, it's the Quebec. How do you pronounce that? Quebec. It's Quebec, isn't it? The Quebec flavour of circusry, whatever. Their versions of a circus, yeah. They're just as occult as every other version of a circus. It all has roots in Anglican, the Anglosphere influence over clowning, and obviously France is renowned for their version of the pantomime with Poirot, the sad clown, So yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'm not surprised. It all comes from the same satanic occult root from Europe and England anyway. Religious zealots who condemn non-believers aren't a good representation of Jesus at all, says David. That's true. That's very true. I'm not a zealot myself. I can't talk about that visionary vet, but thanks for bringing that up in the chat. You, Alpha Talks, and JC are a great team. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like our conversations. We have our own little group chat, us three, on Instagram, and we're always sending each other stuff about all sorts of topics all the time. So we've become good friends over the past year. I will admit that. It's nice to be in contact with them. It was not debunking. Obviously, they see this is being talked about as a hot topic. Posted yesterday, I think. Fair enough, says Captain of My Soul. Look, I'm not interested in... Now you see TV is not suddenly going to become little seasonists. I don't know what you call this, millennial reign realists, something like that. They're not going to drop their futurist eschatology and say Christ has already reigned for 1,000 years. They are not going to do that. They've built their entire foundation on that, and this is the problem with a lot of these big end times ministry type channels. They have built their foundation on shifting sand. And they're kind of too full of hubris and pride to realize that that's what they've done, unfortunately. And what can be done? What can be done? All I can do is just do what I do and let people make their own minds up, But I'm not saying like David Carrico are bad people. I'm not saying they're bad people. They're not. I'm sure their intentions are very good. I'm sure that maybe they are on fire for God, and they're still saved. They still love Jesus, and that's great. And I don't have an issue with that. And I'm not like condemning them. I don't think they're not my brothers and sisters in Christ anymore who doesn't believe this theory. Not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I have been attacked a lot by big channels, vitriolically, and in their eyes, I'm not a brother in Christ. I'm a blasphemer wolf in sheep's clothing who's leading the flock astray. They don't see it that way. And it's best just to not get involved. It's best just not to engage with when somebody sees you like that. There's no productive conversation that comes from discourse with those type of people. There's only condemnation and anger and rage, and nothing fruitful will come from that, So I'm not looking to debate anybody about this. I'm not looking to get involved with or rise to the jabs from these channels, and these personal attacks. I'm not even going to acknowledge them. It's war off my back. I'm going to move on and keep doing what I do, and I'll let the work speak for itself. I don't need to defend the words of Jesus. They stand on their own. I just need to tell people what he said. That's all I need to do, and that's it. I can't do anything else. Who am I? Who am I? And again, I think, what's it? Owen Benjamin. Is he the guy who says this? I might be wrong, but I'm not lying. I'm on that as well. If I do turn out to be wrong about all of this, then fine, I'm wrong. Okay, but I wasn't lying. There's something to this. There's weight to this. There's something there. And I don't think I am going to be proved wrong about this anytime soon. The words of Jesus haven't changed. The imminency in his language hasn't changed. And I'm not saying I've got everything 100% figured out necessarily with the timelines in our history. But the more we research, the more we're going to discover something's up. Something happened. And it's not what we predominantly believe within Christendom today. There's been a bait and switch. We've been lied to somewhere, and our historical record is a lie. That is evident. We know that as conspiracy theorists. We know this. Why do we suddenly trust the historical record when Christ is concerned? When it comes to futurist doctrine, whether or not Christ has reigned or not. Why do then suddenly we run to historical sources as undisputed fact then? And it's kind of when, up until this point, many conspiracy theorists and Christian conspiracies have been fully open to the idea that most of history is a complete convoluted lie written by the winners. Why suddenly now is it not? It's a lot of hypocritical reactionary takes have been going around because of all this topic. And if this shakes your foundational of your faith, then I think you need to reevaluate how strong your faith was to begin with. This should not shake you as much as it has, or some people as much as it has. And I get these messages from people, and it's like, brother, are you sure you want to keep talking about this topic? It's not like it's okay to talk about things, but it's the way you're talking about it. It's a bit convincing. It's a bit too convincing, and you could be you will give an account for every word, You don't want to get caught leading people astray, do you, and making people lose their faith because you bear false witness about the truth in Christ, do you? You don't want to. You want to be careful. You're going to have to give an account for everything you say. I implore you with love. Please reconsider what you're saying. And it's kind of, they have this such condescending, smug, holier than thou, self-righteous, zealot attitude about the thing, talking down to me like I'm some pathetic, biblically illiterate moron who clearly doesn't understand the hermeneutics like I do, and it's kind of, that's demonic. I'm sorry, that attitude is not of God. It's not, and you have to kind of experience it to understand what I'm talking about. they're not being as loving or as caring as they make themselves out to be. They're being condescending, and they're just trying to politely put me down. Like, basically, they're trying to put a Christian veneer over the vitriol for me and my ideas, basically. And I can see it. I can see right through it. I can sense it. You know, I've been around enough narcissistic psychopaths in my time to know evil when it's around now. I'm a bit wiser, you know. And I don't know. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of it. And it's weird. It's odd, you know. And I didn't anticipate I would get this type of thing when I started talking about the topic. Perhaps naively, I thought, oh, well, people are going to want to hear this, like you do with most conspiracy truths when you first hear them. Oh, they're spraying the skies. I better tell people, you know. And the next thing you know, you're ostracized and you're called crazy. And you're not invited to Christmas dinner anymore. It's that type of stuff. Like, and before you know it, your sister won't let you babysit her kids anymore. And it's stuff like that. You went out there with good intentions, thinking, I better share this information. People are going to want to know, right? It's like, no, not if it shakes the foundation of that they built their reality upon. Absolutely not. And I guess that's what's going on here, isn't it? Anyway, back to the chat. I went off on one. I learned a lot from the Midnight Ride back in the day, but Carrico took to wearing a black sort of top hat, and it was an immediate check in my spirit. Don't watch anymore. Yeah, that was odd, wasn't it? Maybe it's something about his generation and what he thinks is cool to wear. That style. I don't know, but I did think that was odd when he did that personally as well. That was a bit of a moment for me too. And I don't know why. You know, now what I know about top hats with my own research about its links to Freemasonry and the Crown of Solomon, it does seem like an odd design choice, like an odd fashion choice, doesn't it? But he could be ignorant to that. He might not know any of that himself, and that's not enough to accuse somebody of being a shill or a Freemason. It's really not. Like, some people just like hats. It's that simple sometimes. What about OLED? OLED? I don't know. Is there something malicious about OLED? You might have to let me know about what's going on there. Okay, no one's attacking you, Ghost User, for sharing the gospel. I think you just need to be more delicate about the way you communicate in these things. I haven't followed it. I don't know what's going on, but clearly something's riled up in some way, and maybe it has something to do with the way things are said that I was talking about earlier. We need to be careful. I am so behind on this chat. I have no idea what's going on. Hey, Paul, when do you think you'll start your series on music, says Brandon Gulling, as you announced 2 podcasts ago, I believe. Well, Brandon, you're new here. I started it 6 years ago. You need to go back and look at my catalogue of 500 videos spanning over like 10 years. I have 2 videos out already called It Is Lucifer Singing to You. Okay? And the premise is that if you a lot of songs that end up in the charts can be listened to from the perspective that it's Lucifer communicating with you directly his thoughts, feelings, and opinions about mankind and how he wants to put himself as God in the throne of God, above God, over all of mankind. And there's a lot of idols out there who channel that particular spirit and sing those words in their songs. And a lot of people are living under a spell, because these songs get played repeatedly on the radio, of Lucifer continuously whispering in their ears through these songs his ideology, basically. So the series is already out called It's Lucifer Singing to You. Go and check it out on my channel. I think it's under Exposing the Occult playlist on my channel. There's already 2 episodes out. Go and have a listen. Go and see what you think. And I'm going to continue posting more of those as songs come up that show me this idea and this concept, and yeah, so there are out there already. But I'm not like gonna go expose the music industry and loads of it. I'm there's plenty of people already doing that. I'm going in more to the nuanced, esoteric, sub-level, meta-contextual narrative about how they use magic and how they spellcast more specifically. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm not pointing out obvious symbolism in music videos and stuff like this all the time, you know, and yeah. That's the gist of what I've done so far. Electricity is a conduit. I don't know what that's about. Insane clown posse. What's the again, this is not against anybody who posts something on my channel. It's not. But me and my wife have a laugh quite a lot because, you know, when new people find my channel, they have like an impulsive tendency to leave like obvious comments. It's kind of like, wow, this is just like the film It. Did you ever watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space in the 80s, or Beetlejuice in all capitals, or things like that, you know? Or like, oh, Insane Clown Posse, am I right? And I get it, you know, I get it, but you know, when you're, from my perspective, when you're getting like 20 of these a day for like 8 years, it gets funny, you know. And it's kind of, my wife basically made this argument and wants to like shout it. It's like, look, if it seems obvious to you, he's probably talked about it. It's kind of what the response is. And it's, yeah, in a way, that's kind of true, you know. It's yeah, and it just made me laugh because I'm seeing a lot. Again, I'm seeing more of this in the comments again. Yes, I have considered it. I have considered Insane Clown Posse. Yeah, I have. Okay, I know about them. I've heard about them, believe it or not. I didn't even have my coffee yet, so it's probably okay. This isn't a theory, it's a reality. Well, that's what it feels like with the Little Season stuff for sure. Are you concerned about the social media arrests which are now occurring in Europe? Personally, no, because I'm not on social media. I don't do that. I don't get angry about things and splurt it out to the public on Twitter or Facebook. I don't even engage on there. I use Facebook to look for memes now. I'm a part of a bunch of groups. That's all I use it for. And I rarely even use it to message people anymore. I use WhatsApp now, or, you know, there's other means, isn't there? I just don't. I don't have an online social media following in that realm where I don't tweet, you know, and I don't post things on Facebook. So I make videos on YouTube. This is where my outlet is, you know, and I reshare people's shorts about my interviews I've had with them on the podcasts on Instagram. That's all I really do, as far as my social media game goes. So I'm not worried personally about being arrested for making a stupid tweet, because I just don't do that kind of thing. I don't engage with the world's distractions, because that's what they are fundamentally. All this us versus them, left right politics paradigm, you know, name your hot button topic, whatever it is. They're all there to cause division and arguments and create a community of fear, and they want people to react. So they say something stupid, so they have an excuse to pull them out of their homes and arrest them, as an example to arrest them to keep their mouths shut. It's all bait. It's just bait. Stop taking it. Switch it up. It's like back in the day, the early days, when television was the main form of programming before the internet. All we had to do then was just turn off the TV and stop reading the newspapers. And we could have had a happy life. The control over us would have just stopped, really. Like, the fear propaganda campaigns would have had no impact because no one knew about them. No one was reading it or listening to it anymore. Turn the radio off, you know what I mean? Go out there and paint something. Go for a walk with your family, you know. But now we're kind of screwed, because of the phone, the internet, and everything else. It's not enough just to switch off the TV anymore. We're in too deep now. But one thing we can do is get off social media. Do that, the rest will follow. That's what I would say. That's my advice. And I've never been into it, never interested. I don't have a finger on the pulse of mainstream news, or people tell me things that are going on when they happen on my Telegram, and that's as close as I get to hearing about what's happening, you know. But it's all a load of bollocks. It's all there just to keep you down, keep you in fear, and stop you from developing and growing yourself, and to trap you, to make you say something stupid so they have an excuse to arrest you. Just don't play the game. Don't get involved. Be invisible. Don't post anything. Like, and you're invisible, then it doesn't matter, you know, it doesn't matter anymore. That if you want to change people, if you want to change the world, go talk to people face to face and tell them what's going on. Don't make some random post on the internet that's going to ruin your life forever. Like, go and talk to a person face to face and tell them the truth. It's the best way to do it. In a way, I'm here right now, face to face, in a sense, telling you what I believe and think about certain things. That's all we can do, and be honest, and be clever about it, for God's sake. Don't be stupid and say something that's obviously going to get you in trouble. Why would you do that? Like, if you want longevity, you want to keep going, you want to spread more truth, then don't say something absolutely moronic that you know is just going to get you in serious trouble while they're currently out there looking for people to arrest on social media. Why? Like, play the game a little bit. Come on. I don't know. I've got my own. That's my own view on it all. But I'm not personally worried about it. Though it's not a good sign for free speech in the UK. That's for sure. But we never had free speech in the UK. It was an illusion. If you thought you did, you were naive. You were deluding yourself. We don't have a constitutional right to free speech. Like, we never had that. Never. I've been a believer my whole life and into these topics for 15 plus years. The millennial reign has totally flipped my worldview on its head. You have to be willing to learn what God is trying to teach us. Exactly, you know, and being a Christian isn't really enough to understand the millennial reign theory. It's not. I mean, that's evident by the amount of Christians who have outright rejected it and refused to listen to it. To get to a point where you can fully grasp and understand the possibility that the Christ has already reigned for 1,000 years, just to be able to humor the idea, you already have to have gone through, like, all the rabbit holes that the conspiracy research has to offer. Because with all the conspiracy stuff kind of already contextualized and internalized and dealt with and understood, and it's a huge amount of topics to research that can take many years to grasp fully, you know, because your paradigms have to keep shifting, and you have to discover one rabbit hole to discover the 20 rabbit holes that can lead down, and then you have to get yourself back up out of it and find a new big thing and to start going down into these warrens, you know, and it can take years and years and years to fully get to grasp with the extent of the conspiracy. And once you've got all that under your belt, when you start hearing that Christ might have reigned for 1,000 years, then you can be like, that makes sense in context to all these other things I've been learning for all these years. That could actually be the case. In fact, that might explain a lot. That's what it's like, you know. But those who just knee-jerk, like, no, you're wrong, that can't be the right, that's ridiculous, you're a heretic. It's kind of, you haven't really done your research yet, have you? That's my internal reaction. It's kind of like, no. Like, you got a thing or two to look into before you outright reject this theory. And I can't help you. You know, I can help you. Well, you can look at some of my videos and I can introduce you to a lot of ideas and concepts, but you got a lot of work to do. Kind of like, that's my internal monologue. And I get it though. I get it. It's not just enough to be a church-going Christian and that's it. Like, that's not enough to understand this theory fully. To see how it can actually be true by looking at the tangible reality we live in today, you know, which is through the conspiracy lens. it's kind of, yeah, it takes a lot. It doesn't shake so much as it deepens, my man. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think I've caught up to the chat. I think. Cult of Khan, thanks for being here. It makes sense when you stand to lose everything that you should be responsible with the things you say. Yeah, well, true. You know, there's that too. I mean, it depends what you're worried about losing, necessarily. But it's more about. Look, I don't know if I can do this forever. I don't know if I'm gonna be allowed to do this forever. I don't know what the future holds, you know. And I was at a point in my life where I thought I'd be working for a supermarket forever, and that was a daunting, horrible feeling, you know. And I'm blessed right now that what I do right now to make a living is share my ideas, and people like it and appreciate it, and that generates revenue for me miraculously. You know, God bless, like thanks to him, like that's like all glory to him. It's clearly I've fallen ass backwards into a comfortable, relatively comfortable living doing this now. So I never work a day in my life, thankfully, because I get to do this. But I'm not under any delusion this is going to go on forever. Like I can do what I can to try and build a solid enough foundation that I can do it for as long as I can. But it only lasts as long as people allow it to. You know, I mean, who knows? Maybe people are going to hate me in 3 years' time because of some particular spicy take I have on some particular topic. I don't know. You know, I think there's a lot of truthers out there who ride high for many years. People love them, and then suddenly they're hated just because of one opinion they had about something, and then they're excommunicated from the conspiracy world. You know, and who if that could happen to me for all I know, and who knows. But I mean, you can't hurt just to tell the truth, can it? Like, it can't hurt to tell the truth. But if you want to keep telling the truth, you've got to be clever about it on platforms that you don't own that have rules. You got to play by the rules a little bit. You got to be cheeky. You got to take a few liberties here and there, but don't cross the line too much that you end up getting, you know, losing everything. And it's kind of that's the game. That's the game of life. Not even just like trying to tell the truth. That's how we get through life anywhere, whether it be a job or a family or a relationship or whatever it is. You've got to be clever about it. You've got to be smart about how you deal with things. And honesty is always the best policy, obviously, under any circumstance. But, you know, to stay around for long enough to gain any benefit or have an impact on other people's lives, like say in a workplace, it probably would do you well not to go around bad-mouthing the boss openly all the time. You might be able to stay in that job for a bit longer, you know. And it's the same thing here. It's not any different, really, when it comes to being on somebody else's platform trying to tell the truth. Like, so they've got rules. Okay, let's see what we can get away with within those boundaries. And there are plenty of other platforms out there where you can go further with your boundaries, but find those platforms where you can do that and do it there. You know, I get a lot of people, and I was talking about this with Joe in the after show. I had Joe from JT Follows JC on my channel for my 70,000 subscriber Q&A special, you know. And after the show, we were talking, you know, and I was saying to him, because we were talking about like how he just can't seem to get past 100,000 on Instagram. And obviously I'm coming up to 100,000 soon. And I'm losing my train of thought here. What was I talking about? Joe, this happens. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. We'll talk about longevity. Actually, I've been baited, and I was saying to him, yeah, it seems like because he got banned off Twitter, and completely banned, like removed, you know, and it seems like he's shadow banned now on Instagram, and I think it's because you've got to be careful not to cross that line. But I find the bigger I've got, the more people I have coming to my platforms, be it Telegram or in the chat or in the comment sections of my videos, baiting me to talk about channel killing topics. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't mention them now, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, there are certain topics which are like uncomfortable, horrible truths, which sound like criminal to say out loud. Okay. Even though it's obvious that it's true and this is really happening, you're not allowed to say it because that's what they're looking for. They want you to make that video saying that stupid thing. So they've got you now. Got you. You're like, now we've got you. Strike. Strike 1, 2, and 3. Instant ban. If because you outed the golden calf of whatever era you're in. There's always the golden thing, isn't there? That the untouchables. You said something about the untouchables. If I get a lot of people in the comments like, why don't you talk about X, Y, and Z? What are you, a shill? It's like, I'm not taking that. That's weak bait. I'm not taking that. No, it's kind of, I don't talk about it because I'm not an idiot. But you can tell that they're pushing it, and then, or they go onto my Telegram and start plastering and posting a load of racist, sexist, homophobic, whatever stuff as much as possible. So now it looks like I fostered a community that does that kind of thing to give an excuse to get rid of me and shut it all down. So I get rid of it straight away. It's like there are plenty of places you can go to get that kind of talking information. This is not that place. Like I'm more into the nuance here. Like I like to be a bit more subtle about the way I'm doing these things to gain more longevity, to be able to keep doing this for longer, to lead people to the sources, to find these uncomfortable truths, perhaps, but in a more palatable method and presentation. And it's kind of I'm not taking that bait, but I was explaining to Joe in this talk, like, I'm so much of this lately, so much of it, and it's kind of like, talk about this terribly dangerous channel killing topic, or else you're evil. It's kind of, is that the best you've got? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's all AI doing this as well. Probably not even real people, are they? I don't know how I think about it doing this. Like, who comes to somebody's channel and says, "Shut up talking about that thing you're talking about and talk about this instead"? Who does that? That's not how human beings communicate with people, is it? Like, I didn't think it was. Anyway, back to the chat. Just keep your clothes on, Con. Says MK Ryan. That's right, Connor. I watched your recent podcast today. What's it? What are they called again? The main character podcast, episode 7 or something like that. And I was like, why is he topless? What's he doing? But I understand it's very hot where you live, so fair enough, But yeah, it's just funny. Social media is evil for many different reasons. Just live your life the best you can. I'm 34, grew up in the early MySpace days and during the early aughts metal scene. Trust me, Paul is correct. Yeah, I mean, I'm 32. I'm not that much younger than you, and things have changed. Even in my lifetime, I can see we're in too deep now. And there may have been a time just before I turned like 15, 14, where things could have changed for the better. We could have made a choice collectively to turn it off, but we didn't. And so be it. Now we have to live with the consequences. But social media is definitely our number one enemy right now, I would say. And it's used as a weapon against us. You have to know this. It's they are purposefully catering your individual feed with things that are going to purposefully antagonize you. They are purposefully antagonizing you with your tailored feed in your social media. They are sending you things they know you personally are going to get pissed off about. Okay? And all the comments you'll see on those posts are going to be people backing up your opinion, so you don't think you're wrong or anything like that. But then the alternative, your enemies, as you've dubbed them, their feeds are tailored towards the anti-thing of your view, and all the comments they see are people backing up their worldview, and the us versus them dichotomy just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're doing that for everything. Relationships, friendships, political beliefs, or whatever it is. They're pinning any duality against one another as you're not necessarily need to work together to find harmony. You're enemies who need to kill each other. That's how they've spun it, There's God's way and then there's Satan's way, I suppose, and they're trying to make it go Satan's way. I've heard the Lord called the Holy Ghost. How is that demonic? I have no idea what that's talking about. Oh, we could talk about feathers or something. We can't compete with major brands. They're too entrenched, says Cult of Con. That's true. That is true. I'm just going to turn a fan on, guys. You can't see it, but I'm really hot right now. Oh, no. I need to plug the fan in. Just bear with me, and while you're waiting, guys, enjoy another advert here. At first, I just thought people couldn't financially justify hiring a clown anymore, you know? Then I started blaming the media for portraying my people as bloodthirsty murderers, cult members, or man-eating space aliens. Of course, the 2016 clown sightings didn't help. Ronald was the first to go. They just took him away. And we stayed silent. Because that's when the book appeared. What new form of clown bigotry was this, I thought? Hadn't my people suffered enough? My clown act was failing because people just weren't taking it seriously. And once they fired me from the circus, I tried suing them for funfair dismissal. My unicycle rusted, and my balls gathered dust. I used to make kids scream with laughter, you know. So much that I could see the tears of joy running down their faces. And then it just stopped. I was so upset that I started eating the banana cream pies instead of throwing them in people's faces. I gained so much weight that summer. I avoided it for a while, but the book's front cover was just so eye-catching, and it was so readily available on Amazon, that I gave in and finally read the thing. I didn't even know what the Nephilim were. Luckily, the author spent the first half of the book concisely explaining the biblical history to me in an easy-to-understand manner, so that wasn't really a problem for long. That's when I read the rest of the book and realized that being a clown is no joke. And there we go. Quick advertisement break for you guys while I turn the fan on, cool down, and have a bit of water, and try and catch up on some of the chat. Play nice, guys. Come on, we're not here to argue with each other about stuff. Just ask me a question, and let's discuss the topics at hand. Let's not be at each other's throat, you know. And I understand it comes with the territory. I know people like to hash it out a little bit. But come on, be cool. Let's be cool. We're all friends. We're all friends here. Okay, we're all friends. There was one time where Jesus says that we'll talk about the Holy Ghost. Let's just move on from that. Not that because that's unimportant, but I'm not getting into the debate of the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost, the Mandela effect, and all these type of things right now. That's not a topic I'm going to get into. We're having clown sightings in Southwest Ohio again. Interesting. Well, Halloween is just around the corner, and we are going to see a huge influx of clown-related media memetics and articles coming out. The obligatory, the fear of clowns. Scientists seem to have finally cracked why people have this strange fear article is going to come out soon. Okay, so the obligatory why people are scared of clowns article will be released anytime and plastered over every single news or like media event as you can ever find anywhere. Every year they always do it because they always have to remind people about the clown archetype and symbol in their own mind. And then they always have to explain away the fear as being, oh, it's because of the uncanny valley, you know. It's almost human, but not quite. We're programmed to be scared of bright colours because of a predator response, you know. It's kind of, we can't see their face move because of the makeup, and that makes us naturally feel untrustworthy because we can't read facial expressions, all the usual bollocks. Or maybe we used to be eaten by these things at some point in our ancient past, and we kind of haven't forgot. I think it's a lot simpler. Sorry, coincidence theorist. I'm just trying to. What? What did you say? Eating banana cream pies. Full stop. The vector. Full spot. Full stop. The point of infestation. Full stop. When the nemesis was eaten. Full stop. The wrong fruit. Full stop. Begat fruitlessness. Sorry, fruitiness. What does that even mean? I'm sorry. I know you probably mean well, and that means something profound and deep to you. But I need more explanation for why you're saying this word salad of words. You do this a lot, okay? And help me understand what you're trying to. What are you trying to tell me? Because I showed an image of a clown eating a banana cream pie in my advert for comedic value. What did you get from that? That's sent you down this clearly profound word association, symbolic concept that you've just formed here. Like, I need to. They hate banana cream pie. It's outrageous. To help me understand coincidence theories, please help me understand. I don't enjoy antagonistic discourse as much as I used to. That's why I like Paul's channel. Oh, brilliant. All right, gang, it's dinner time with the fam. Everyone have a good night. Do better. Ghost Hunter, God bless. This is MK Ryan. Thanks for being here, MK Ryan. I appreciate everything you do for me. Talk about how much you love your non-believer of a wife. I do. I love my wife. I love my family. I love the home we have together. And yes, she's not a believer like me. And that's fine. That's okay. Everyone's on their own journey to discovering the truth and gaining a relationship with God. It's easier for some than it is for others. It's a process for each individual. I believe God brings people to him in his time, not necessarily theirs, and that's fine. That's okay. Cult of Con, I think you might have missed what came before. He's not been kind at all tonight. Okay, there we go. I never appreciate people telling others how Christian they think they are. Faith is personal. Exactly. Faith is a personal thing. It's you can't convince people that Christ and God is real by telling them. That's not how it works. Okay, it's something they have to go through themselves to get to that point where they can understand it and believe in it and have that experience. And if it takes a lifetime for them to get to that, then so be it. Or if they never get to that, then so be it. That was their journey for whatever reason. And I have faith it's in God's hands. Can't sleep, clowns will eat me. Bart Simpson. Yeah, I remember that episode. Yeah. That's right, that was a creepy one. It's funny, isn't it funny that Ned Flanders was the one with that bed in his house? Was it? I'm pretty sure it was. Banana cream pie bias, outrageous. I now know more information because of Paul, and it's all made sense with his Genesis 6 conspiracy. Many a kingdom or not, to love thy Lord, your God with all your heart, soul, and spirit, and love your neighbour as yourself. That's true. I mean, funnily enough, that's the quote that was sent to me by Elizabeth Joyce in this artwork, Matthew 22:37. There it is, the exact same quote you just gave me. And yeah, that hangs in my office. And it's a good rule of thumb. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second being, love thy neighbour. Next to it. And that's all we're really aimed to do. Love one another. Easier said than done, isn't it? But that's the rule. That's all you need to do. I don't know what's going on. I'm losing track of the whole thing, the whole conversation now. It's usually the case. I usually lose track at some point and it starts to veer off into chaos. Let me just check my email. I got a message earlier. Let me just see if this is JayDreamerZ or something else. I've been getting a lot of emails. It's Joe. Joe's mentioned me in something on Instagram. Something to do with clowns. I'm going to have to look into that, see what he's saying. No, all good there. Yeah, guys, I'm going to have to start the show in 15 minutes over at JayDreamerZ channel, so I'm going to have to start winding this one down now. Anyway, I just watched the movie Problem Child and it's loaded with clowns, says Wendy. I'll have to check that one out. Thanks for letting me know. It's good to be modest, says Cassandra. It is. It's a good virtue to have, absolutely. Chris asks, do you hazard to guess that the age of exploration where Europe was colonizing every land they could was Satan being opportunistic at that time? Possibly. To cover up the cultures that existed prior and to establish the Western dominance narrative of bringing civilization to an otherwise uncivilized group of cretins, and then taking credit for everything that was already built there. But I do think there was a large contingent effort to rewrite history during those early colonization times, and basically rewrite the history books to dumb down the cultures that were there prior, in a sense, and to make them out to be mindless savages who don't understand anything. But if that's the case, then it's more likely that these people that were colonized were the remnants, what was left over of the Millennial Kingdom, and the history was rewritten. Everything was changed. So there is that take. There is another take on all of this, and I was talking to Joe about it. I can't quite remember how to phrase it anymore, and I don't want to. I haven't quite got it, but I know there's another take on that particular concept, and as soon as I remember it, I'll go back and listen to when we discussed it. But there's this other really interesting way of explaining that, and it's kind of an inversion of what I said, and I can't remember how. And I know that's not giving you guys much right now, and I apologize, it's so vague. But I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the talk I did where I brought that forward. And I'm gonna then I'll bring that answer to you, Chris. If you're in like the Telegram or something, let me know, and I'll maybe talk to you about it there when I find it. But I know there's another way to reinterpret the whole colonization thing that went down at that time. But for now, yes, it does seem like it was an attempt to rewrite history by the evil controllers to establish Satan's little season. Certainly, that seems to be the prominent understanding of that event, and that came with all the revolutions as well of that time period, the French Revolution, the American Revolution as well. And obviously the colonization of India in the 1800s as well, with the East India Company, the controlling of the Silk Road, all of that kind of stuff. I think it was a hijacking of Millennial Kingdom establishments, and a rewriting of history attempts was going on that time, and to destroy cultures that already existed, and genocide was involved, probably to destroy the oral tradition too, so no memory could be passed down of what was there prior. Something like that must have been going on, but I'm gonna have to flesh that out more before I have too much more to say on it, because I'm probably missing so much there. Trying to help everyone keep on topic to what Paul's talking about, though I think there's a delay between his stream and the chat. Yeah, there's always a delay. And I can't keep up with all the chat. It's a lot busier than it used to be, so it's harder for me to see every message. And the chat kind of jumps. I scroll down, and then suddenly it leaps and loads of stuff loads that I've missed, and I'm behind then. I've missed all those comments, so I try and scroll back and find where I was. But by that time, everyone's commented another 20 things, so it's a difficult process. So please be patient with me. Paul is being affected by my contagious ADHD river brain. I think it's just late. It's 20 past 11 in the evening for me. I'm about to go and do another hour and a half show with Jay soon, and I'm thirsty. I've been talking for a little bit already. I got my arm is hurting. I'm sore, and yeah. So I think it's just that, to be honest. But yeah, just while I'm here, I might as well plug. If anyone's interested, again, someone did just email me, so I think I've got 6 left now. 6 books left here, where these top 3 have been claimed already. If anyone's interested in getting a signed copy of this book, I can send one out to you in the mail personally. I will pick the book up, sign it, write you a nice little message with your name, give it a signature, pop it in an envelope, print off the tag, and I'll send it to you wherever you are in the world. International shipping, everything. £60, that's the cost. That's the flat rate to get a signed copy. You can send that to PayPal with your address, your name, your number, and email address, and I will send that out to you if you're interested. So if you want a signed copy of The Nephilim Look Like Clowns, I'm doing a £60 offer right now, a back to school offer. In the UK, the kids have just gone back to school for September. So back to school offer, guys. Get your education right here. £60, signed copy. Let me know if you're interested. You can email me at understandingconspiracy@gmail.com. And yeah, first come, first serve. If you want a copy, let me know. It can't be easy to moderate a conspiracy theory live chat, so hats off to you, Keely. Absolutely. It's tough. It's tough out there, and I've got my trusted inner circle of mods that help me do it. Wendy's a good one. My wife Keely's involved as well. Vibes, we've got Kanga, we've got MK Ryan, and I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone else. We've got David, the drunk wedding photographer as well. Yeah, I've got a nice crew who do a fantastic job of keeping it cool, keeping it tidy, keeping it neat. So thanks to all of those people who do all that for me. I can't appreciate enough that you're always there as well. You provide, you come with it, and you're a solid part of this community and this family, but dare I say. Absolutely. Yeah, and obviously my wife is 6 months pregnant, so go easy on her, guys. She's doing a great job. And yeah, she's under a lot of stress and pain right now, and she still turns up to help moderate this and put up with all your crap. So, some sympathy. Thanks. Thanks to my wife. I very much enjoyed reading your book, Paul, and I look forward to Volume 2, says Laura Robinson. Yes, Volume 2 will be out probably in a year's time, maybe the back end of next year. It took me about a year and a half, maybe a year and 3 months to write the first book, so I'm predicting something similar for the next one. I've already written a few odd chapters here and there of the second book, because I was kind of writing it as I was writing the first. And so I already have like 3 chapters written of like 15 chapters, like 18 chapters for the next book. So it's on its way. But right now, in the early stages, I've taken a break from the writing to focus on promoting the first book, doing the podcast circuit, and having a rest, because I am exhausted. And I've been dealing with this illness, dealing with treatment for the hemochromatosis. And obviously now I've got a second child on the way as well. I'm going to have to take some paternity time off in a few months' time in December, just to really, deal with having a newborn and a toddler. So yeah, it's going to be harder and harder to find time to write, but I'm going to do my best to do what I can when I can. And the book will be ready when it's ready. You guys have been so patient so far, but I am providing. I do have the first volume. It's here, and I've tried to make it as well written and presentable as possible, as relatable and easy to read, with no minimal mistakes as I possibly can put in there, as somebody who did all the editing myself, and the proofreading, all that type of thing. And I think I've done a good enough job so far. So I'm taking a break, just a couple of months, and then I'll get back to writing again before the baby comes. And then when the baby's here, and I'm probably up till like 3 in, just while waiting for the baby to wake up so I can feed it its bottle. During those periods, while my wife's asleep and I'm on duty, I'll probably be writing away in those times. So I'll find the time, as time comes. But I'm glad you like the book so far. And yeah, I personally can't wait for Volume 2 to come out either, so I can finally kind of put a pin in the whole thing and have the body of work done and out there publicly for people to get, and it's safe and sound and not reliant simply on YouTube. It's black and white printed ink on paper. So that's, fingers crossed, we'll get it done sooner rather than later. But yeah, thanks for all your support, guys, on that. I really appreciate it. Again, if you want a signed copy, send me an email, understandingconspiracy@gmail.com, and I can arrange that for you and get one sent out. Absolutely. And yeah, if you just want to buy a normal copy, go to Amazon. Links in the description. Go to Amazon, get yourself a copy of the book. You can get it on Kindle for $10, or you can get yourself a paperback for $30, I think, or something. I can't remember the prices. Amazon changed the prices, by the way. I have no control. Right? They are fluctuating all the time. They'll randomly just slap a deal on at some random point, and I don't know anything about that. I'd leave it to them to do all of that. They're the publishers technically, but it doesn't affect my commission. Whatever the set price they set, I always get what I agreed upon originally when I set the price. So that's fair enough, So they're not messing me about when they do that kind of thing. So if you ever see a sale on, take it. Is what I'll say, because it doesn't affect my bottom line, and it's Amazon's offer 30%, go get that 30% while it's there. Absolutely. But it happens so randomly, I can't announce it. I don't know when they're going to do it, and I can't check every day, So yeah, go check that out, guys, if you haven't already. And I am now, in 5 minutes time, I am going to go across now and talk with JayDreamerZ on his channel. We're scheduled for 11:30 in 5 minutes time. The link is in the description of this video. So if you're listening live right now, you can click the link in this description of this video, and it will send you to where I am going to be next. And I implore you all 178 of you that I can see here, go over to JayDreamerZ channel, go to the live tab, and let's listen to me talk with him about the clowns, shall we? We'll get into the clowns, and I'll share with him my opinion and views on all of these things, and maybe we'll talk about some other topics. Who knows? This is a conversation in the making. I've been waiting for this conversation for quite a while myself. I think he's just sent me the email. Yes, he's just sent me an email. Let's have a look what it says. Link to join StreamYard. Right, guys, so I'm going to go over there now. I'm going to go talk with JayDreamerZ. Thanks for joining me for this random live Q&A. I really appreciate it. Links down below to go to the next video where I'm going to be live now. Thanks for listening, and as always, God bless.